On the occasion of her 7th wedding anniversary, actress Meghan Markle delivered a dazzling display of marital bliss and sent effusive congratulations to her favourite person, herself. Incredibly, in the difficult Duchess's gushing Instagram post, her hapless husband Harry didn't get a look in. The runaway royal, not even mentioned as Bridezilla, looked back on the memorable moments since she walked the aisle on May the 19th, 2018. A magical day throughout which the sun shone brilliantly against a cloudless, bright blue sky. Watched by a global audience of more than 1 billion TV viewers, the picture-perfect fairy tale ceremony promised so much. A stunning American star, a dashing British prince, a glittering couple with the world at their feet. A golden future surely lay ahead. What could possibly ever go wrong? Well, one hell of a lot, it turned out. Little did we know that those breathtaking nuptials were the high point. The not-so-magnificent 7 years that have unfolded in all their lack of glory following that wonderful Windsor spectacular have been downhill all the way. The horror of Megxit, without a doubt, the worst mistake of Harry's mistake-strewn life. With old ginger nuts in tow, Meghan, fleeing Britain under a cloud as the late Queen, launched an inquiry into her daughter-in-law's bullying of palace staff. The outrageous interview that this preposterous pair of ingrates gave to Oprah Winfrey, falsely accusing the British royals of racism. The deluded duo's pompously overblown plans to become the greatest charity benefactors on earth. How's that working out for them? Meghan alienating millions by ruthlessly cutting her loving father, brother and sister out of her life. Half-wit Harry enraging Americans by dismissing their sacred freedom of speech First Amendment as bonkers. Harry's spiteful book Spare, lifting the lid on King Charles and his regal clan's private details in return for cash. This puffed-up prince making a fool of himself at stupid Hollywood gong fests, accepting daft celebrity awards like the one that hailed him as a legend of aviation. Sure, he bravely flew helicopters in Afghanistan, but does that make him a legend of aviation? Of course it doesn't. Meghan's atrocious bullying of staff toiling in the trenches of Montecito, as revealed by respected publication The Hollywood Reporter and the Bible of US magazine's Vanity Fair. The traumatic stories of the long-suffering minions who quit in their droves and dubbed themselves the Sussex Survivors Club, labelling Meghan a tantrum-prone tyrant in high heels who reduced grown men to tears. Harry's deranged war with the British press, firing off a blizzard of lawsuits in a crazed conflict he can never win. Oh my God, the list of what's gone pear-shaped for the self-styled King and Queen of California goes on and on. And on. Right up to just a few weeks back when, against stiff opposition, Harry staged the biggest screw-up of them all. That shocking interview with the BBC when, after losing his obsessional legal bid to be given the armed police protection in the UK he neither warrants nor deserves, the demented Duke lashed out from the depths of his paranoia at a cruel world he thinks is conspiring against him, throwing his toys out of the pram like a spoilt brat who didn't get his own way. Along the way, disclosing that his dad, the king, no longer talks to him. Who can blame Charles for that? Meanwhile, wannabe billionaire Meghan's venal ambition to monetise her minor royal status gets more embarrassing by the day. Now, with Manic Meg desperately flogging obscenely overpriced thin fruit spread gruel and Harry pretty much doing nothing at all, you sense that the gruesome twosome's rapid descent is far from over, particularly as their relationship seems to be more and more all about her and less about him. How Harry hated being the spare in the royal family, the man who would never be king. So, what does he feel about being the spare, a sideshow in his own marriage? A bit part player, simpering in the wings while his self-centred wife takes centre stage. Now we learn that the dim Duke's minor walk-on role in the first series of Netflix's unwatchable lifestyle show With Love, Meghan will be reduced to no role at all in the uneagerly awaited second series. Frankly, with this toweringly tedious production lost in widespread apathy, who cares? And as for the Sussexes' fabled philanthropy, whatever happened to that? In Time magazine's newly released list of the world's top 100 philanthropists, a certain Duke and Duchess are conspicuous by their absence. But can our hopeless heroes sink any lower? You bet they can. Watch this space. Many of you will be watching this show on your phone, your tablet or laptop, completely oblivious that someone could be accessing your device and stealing your data. Using the internet without private internet access is like having a doctor's appointment televised. Everyone tuning in now knows about your high cholesterol. Whenever you browse the internet on an unprotected device, you're unknowingly transmitting a great amount of data into the open. That's where Private Internet Access VPN comes in. A virtual private network, or VPN for short, is an app that hides your IP address and safeguards your internet connection through an encrypted tunnel. It shields your digital life from the eyes of those who are looking to exploit your private information. Whenever you connect to the internet on public Wi-Fi, at airports, coffee shops, friends' houses, or even at your own home, your data is at risk of being stolen. Hackers on the same network can easily steal your personal data. With PIA, you're protected. And there's more. With PIA, you can access all your usual streaming services, including Netflix, Amazon Prime, and Disney+, even if you're outside your own region. All you need to do is open the app, select a server from 91 countries, and just like that, you're digitally there. And with just one PIA subscription, you can protect an unlimited number of devices. So that's the whole family covered. Follow the link in the description or scan the QR code on the screen now to receive a massive 86% discount, making it just £1.57 per month. There's a 30-day money-back guarantee, and to top it off, you'll receive 4 additional months for free. Head to piavpn.com/talktv now and take control of your digital life. So, Samara and Andrew, I began that monologue by talking about Meghan's extraordinary Instagram post about her wonderful 7-year marriage, not even mentioning her husband, a guy called Harry, Meghan, in case you've forgotten him. And on that post was this. They call it a mood board. And she has posted her idea of the highlights of this relationship. And people make a lot of them never showing the faces of their kids. Well, it's here, before it was born. I think that one was Archie. What did you make of all of this, Samara?
I mean, first of all, it's absolutely a cry for help, but it's also an exercise in narcissism to the highest degree. I mean, when I look at this, I just think, go get a life. What are you doing all day? Like crowding around photos and putting them together. And you're right about Archie. I mean, there are full frontal shots of Archie's face right there.
Yeah.
We've got his first photo ever.
Yes.
I mean, where is the actual privacy that they've been yapping on about, going to courts about, and leaving the royal family over? There's none of it. And it's actually, it's really surprising. It's a surprising move from her. But as I said, I think it's a move in desperation.
Yeah, I mean, she does do this. No one else congratulated her.
Yes.
But she did congratulate herself.
And quite right.
Neglecting to mention her other half.
Well,
I mean, this woman, narcissism doesn't even begin to cover it, does it?
It's an absolute joy, isn't it? The 7-year
Well, I wouldn't call it a joy.
No, but it's a joy. I'm terribly predictable. The 7-year itch. Also, the 7th anniversary is a copper one. And I think it's a bitter reminder reminder.
copper?
It is copper.
Is that
It's
what
a
it is?
bitter reminder that in the courts, very recently, just a few days before, the one thing that Harry's not getting is any coppers. You work on that basis, there's no protection
You
for
get
him.
no armed
You
coppers.
see what I did there?
Oh my God, that was very torturous. But you got there in the
We got
end.
there
That
in
was
the
the
end.
good thing.
It was good.
But you mentioned the 7-year
Yes.
itch there, Andrew. Samara, you know, the 7-year itch, this famous moment where happily married couples apparently often reach the point where they go, I can't stand the sight of him or her anymore, and they split up. There's a long track record of people who do split up when they hit the 7-year mark. I mean, I see the signs here. I really, really don't see this marriage lasting. It may get past the 7-year itch bit, but the 8-year itch?
I mean, we were speculating, remember last year, they hadn't been seen together in over 84 days. They had basically split publicly and definitely in a professional sense. And as you said in the monologue, he's not going to be included in the second season. There are lots of different pointers as to say that Harry, as you said, is a massive side piece in Meghan's life. And she has a track record for when this person doesn't suit or benefit me, I'm just going to toss you to the wayside. I mean, she's been known to do it before.
Well, I'll ask her first husband, who she dumped by FedEx.
Correct.
Sent back her wedding and engagement rings by FedEx. He gets this envelope, had no idea. Oh, looks like my wife's left me, and here's the rings that I gave her. Unbelievable. I mean, she drops people like a stone, really, really ruthlessly, and actually kind of disturbingly. People who are like, that's almost psychopathic, isn't it?
It is psychopathic, and a lot of experts have even weighed in and said, yes, I mean, there are definitely pointers to, you know, how she could be navigating the relationship. But I also think it goes deeper than that. I think it's about the fact that she's now the provider. Harry doesn't really do anything. He doesn't make the money in the relationship. He doesn't bring home or any opportunities. She's having to go out and forage for herself, and that can also fracture a relationship massively. I mean, I know she wants to be the star of the show, but when he's when he's
you got that right.
Yeah, but when he's at home watching reruns of Suits, I mean, there's nothing attractive about that.
I imagine she does that a lot as well.
She does, and
oh, look, it's me!
Yeah.
It's my favourite person!
Navel gazing.
Look!
But we heard beforehand, actually, those rerun of Suits trigger him, don't they? Because he doesn't like the sex scenes with other men.
That's right.
So I doubt that he's watching that. The other interesting thing about the mood board is about the rumour about her baby bump and the strap-on bump, because here is a picture in the womb, the very first picture of Archie, I assume it is, working on that sort of basis to dispel those rumours. But does it?
I don't think it does. I mean, you can get a photo like that from anywhere.
Yeah,
I mean,
but you know, I, when I first heard this, Meghan put a strap-on, I thought, what's going on there? But actually, it is.
well, we don't know. I mean,
it is alleged. It is
Yeah.
alleged that she did put a strap-on pregnancy bump, on for the pictures. But that would confirm this show, What Just Happens policy, that Harry and Meghan don't actually have any kids. There you go. We were right all along, right?
I mean, I think people do earmark when, after she had Archie, she became really nefarious about media. And, you know, Kate always did the right thing and she'd go and step in front of the cameras a couple of hours after she'd had the kids sometimes. But they kept Archie really under lock and key for days and then didn't show him, and then were doing all these kind of controlled pap walks. So, of course, that's going to create a lot of speculation as to the nature of that pregnancy. And then it goes into the royal family. It has to kind of come from her womb in order to be deemed basically titles.
And this relationship as depicted here, I mean, this is a love story. There's pictures of them kissing and cuddling and God knows what, looking blissfully happy.
There's an elephant.
But it doesn't tell the story of this real relationship, does it? The real story of this relationship, as is becoming more and more uncomfortably clear, is that he is just, you know, her whipping boy. He is so subordinate to her. It's excruciating. I mean, you know, and as you say, Samara, the thing is that he's being useful to her. He's got her where she is now. And I think, Andrew, he may be reaching the point, or she's reaching the point where I'm not sure I need this ginger nuts guy anymore.
Well, it is a difficult one, isn't it? The one picture which, of course, is missing is the picture of you, because throughout all of this...
Where am I, Meghan?
Exactly. You have...
Come on!
You have punctuated this relationship. You've provided the
there
narrative.
every step of the way.
You should be the fridge magnet holding up these pictures.
You know, it's interesting interesting you mentioned that, though. It is a lot of just them, and what's really starkly missing is any family at all, apart from, I mean, you know, you'd have maybe some family shots in that sort of mood board, maybe a family dinner for a birthday or something like that, and there's none of that. It is very, very individual. I mean, it's also them against the world.
She's so corny and cheesy, isn't she? I mean, like, she pins our love story.
It is our love story.
I mean, give me a break. What is this, Mills and bloody Boone? You know, for God's sake.
No, it's disgusting.
There's a quite terrifying picture of with her and the elephant, because that's like it looks like an adult elephant, looked really upset, about to charge them with a half-naked Harry down there as well.
It's interesting because on the Jamie Kern-Lima podcast, she said to her, I feel like I'm in my honeymoon period, and this is the honeymoon period for us because the start of our relationship was so tumultuous. And I think that that's actually the opposite. And she reads every headline. She reads all the stories that people write about her. And I think, you know, stuff like posting photos of Archie to quash all those rumours. And then them in love, that's again to quash those rumours that are coming out about the divorce.
Yeah, she reads all the stories and watches the YouTube, which may explain why I'm not.
Oh, is that right?
I do understand that I'm not on their Christmas card list. I may be high in their list of the people they hate most.
It's really
but you know, it's nothing personal, Meghan or Harry. You know what I mean? Just doing my job, just trying to get the facts.
Well, we love it.
You know, but also, as I mentioned in my monologue, what is now overshadowing our love story, their love story, is her venal pursuit of wealth, of great wealth. You know, she's desperate to be a billionaire. As I said, she's desperate to cash in on her extremely minor royal status. And it's not going to work. I know this. We discussed this last week, and you guys have got a good take on it as well. When we tried all of that as a product, you know, it's not disgusting.
No,
nobody's going to go out of their way to buy that stuff twice.
Not at that price.
Yeah, exactly.
And what you brought in was the wonderful Prince William one, wasn't it? Which the strawberry jam, which tasted a lot better.
You know what, though? I'm going to tell you the easy way to become a billionaire. She's going to marry probably a hedge fund manager in about 10 years, maybe 5.
Yeah.
That's the easiest way, and that's probably what she'll do because he hasn't got any money. I mean, Harry's spent it all on...
Harry will look terrible after that. Somebody said, you look like you've been dragged through a hedge fund backwards. Yeah, I mean, he does look very desperate now.
He does. I do feel sorry for him. He does look a bit downtrodden and things like that. And it is the 7th anniversary. And you're right. He does seem to be a sort of a side thing to it. And it would have been lovely.
He's an appendage.
Oh, yeah, even
an increasingly irrelevant appendage. He's got to find himself a purpose in life.
Yeah.
It's humiliating for him.
It is. I mean, it was always very much us versus them for the past, I'd say, 5 years since they exited the royal family. You know, we are against the royal family. We are against the firm, the institution. But now I think they're going to start attacking themselves because they haven't got the royal family to really attack anymore. There's nothing more there's no more ground to cover. So I think that now they're going to turn inward and start assessing, oh God, what have I signed up for? I think that's what Harry's going to start thinking.
Yeah. It would still be lovely, however, and I just keep saying this, if they could build a bridge with the king. I think it's because however many years he may have and so on and so forth. I love that idea.
I kind of like the feud. Yeah, of course. I mean, you know, the thing I think about King Charles, he's a nice guy.
Yes.
You know, he's a nice guy.
Member of the Magic Circle.
He's a bit soppy. He's a bit woke.
You
know, he's like lost in all that green claptrap. But he's a nice enough guy.
He is.
And I feel sorry for the fact that he's given birth to a spoilt brat who treats him very badly and treated his grandmother very badly as well. So Harry's story, God knows where it's going. But I think that the next story, the big story unfolding about this too, will be financial. Because she ain't going to make much money out of As Ever. I think she's probably already made all the money she ever will make out of As Ever, which is probably about $63.
Right.
She isn't going to be a billionaire. With Love, Meghan, nobody cares about that.
Yes.
That will flop even worse than the first series. Confessions of a Female Founder, an absolute catastrophe, a total flop. So everything she's doing is not working. There's no money coming in there. And even with his royal connections, they've got very, very high prices to pay for their high cost of living, maintaining that mansion. I think the next story about them will be financial. Their finances or lack thereof. Let's go to a bad ad.
Next time you're feeling down, feeling that no one really gets you, or you're just wanting to hear some encouraging words, well, there's a solution.
You can have what you want. You can do it. The finish line is closer than you think.
The Cheers to You CD is 8 tracks filled with encouragement and cheering applause. It's even been featured on The Ellen DeGeneres Show.
We're on your side. We're here for you. We believe in you.
We guarantee you'll be feeling better about yourself and your life, or we'll give you your money back. Call 1-877-545-6715 now to order the Cheers to You CD, and you'll also receive 3 puzzle-shaped affirmative tokens. One says, I am courageous. Another, I am unstoppable. And the third, without me, the puzzle is incomplete. Together, all these items normally sell for $35. But right now, you can get them for only $24.95.
And a fourth puzzle badge says, I'm completely gullible. And it's even been featured on the completely discredited Ellen DeGeneres Show. Let's go to some real ads. What just happened?
He's mad as hell. It's Kevin O'Sullivan.
Welcome back to part 2 of What Just Happened. This is the point where we look back on what we think are the biggest stories of the week. Check it.
3, 2, 1. Yay! It worked.
Yeah, it's the big moment. Well, we've got 3 for you, but for me, the biggest moment, because it was pure theatre, was Donald Trump meeting South African President Cyril Ramaphosa in the White House and giving old Cyril the Zelensky treatment. Unbelievable. Let's have a look.
Turn the lights down and just put this on. It's right behind you. Johan.
There's nothing this parliament can do. With or without you, people are going to occupy land.
Now, what was happening there was that President Trump, Ramaphosa had gone there in the African way, hoping to do trade deals, make some money. You know, that's what those African nations like doing, getting generous deals from Western nations. So that's what he thought he was doing. He was on a cash hunt.
Yes.
And Donald had other ideas. And he ambushed him with this video, which was all about the alleged genocide of white farmers in South Africa who are being killed for their land. Now, whether or not that's genocide is a moot point. You know, genocide, as you know, Andrew, has to be legally defined. But there's a lot of murdering going on
abhorrent, anyway.
of these farmers. And Trump showed Ramaphosa, poor old Cyril, this video. And, you know, Ramaphosa acted like he didn't know what he was talking about. He knew full well. And just an astonishing scene.
It was quite astonishing. And I always say Trump is a master media manipulator. He knows how to get that moment in the same way as Zelensky was planned theatrics. He knew this is the moment. He has the media watching, and now's the moment to do it. So all credit for him to doing that. It's an appalling situation. He called it out in the right way.
Yeah, well, we had Elon Musk's father, Errol Musk, on our show last night. So in her other life, Samara is my producer of my show, which is on Talk. It's called The Political
Very
Friday.
good,
It's on
very
Friday,
good.
Monday to Friday, every night, 7 to 10. I honestly recommend it. But Samara brilliantly booked Errol Musk to come on and talk about it. He, of course, lives in South Africa. And he said this is a thing. He said people are being killed left, right and centre for their land. And, you know, people try to say, oh, it's not racial. Black farmers are being killed as well. It's mainly blacks on white. It really is black people killing white farmers. You know, it's a rebellion, I guess, against old colonialism, but it is not justified. And Donald Trump's video showed all these crosses all down the road, I mean, all down this highway. I mean, thousands of them that are to commemorate the victims of this mass slaughter.
It's absolutely appalling. And Errol himself, he has said that he's had to kill an intruder in his house. Three, exactly. When he was and he was trying to protect his young daughter. Death and destruction is all part of life in Africa.
Yeah, so Errol must start saying to me, well, I've experienced it myself. That's what I do my South African accent.
Oh, that's very good.
Yeah. I've experienced it myself.
Very good.
I thought we were there then.
South Africa.
Yes.
Anyway, so I gradually worked out, is this guy telling me that he killed 3 people?
Yes.
So did you kill them? He goes, yes, I did.
Yeah, which, everyone, the audience actually thought, that's right. He should be defending himself because they vowed to cut his daughter out.
And he was tried for murder. I mean, we've unpacked this. He was tried for murder, but they let him off because it was self-defence and there was a real risk to his child in the house.
Yeah, so we need to move on, but a couple of last points. I asked why Trump had done this, and apparently he's genuinely upset about it.
Also, he's America first.
Yeah, but he's upset about what's happening in South Africa. They say he's just obsessed with America. He's got a lot of concerns about the rest of the world as well. And the other funny thing, the thing that made me laugh about it, in the middle of this was South Africa's most famous golfer, Ernie Els. And Retief Goosen, another South African golfer, both standing there bemused as to what they were involved in. But let's move on, because in that same saga in the Oval Office, which is now becoming the home of TV theatre, a reporter from NBC television suddenly asked Donald Trump about Air Force One. It turns out that America, to my surprise, will be accepting this gift of this massive, great gold-plated, inside anyway, jumbo jet for the president. Air Force One will officially be a gift from the Qatari nation. This NBC reporter, somewhat irrelevantly, because they were talking about South Africa, asked the president about this, and Donald kind of turned on him. Watch this.
We're talking about a lot of other things. It's NBC trying to get off the subject of what you just saw. You are a real, you're a terrible reporter. You ought to go back to your studio at NBC, because Brian Roberts and the people that run that place, they ought to be investigated. They are so terrible the way you run that network, and you're a disgrace. No more questions from you.
I said last night, if I had a pound or a dollar for every time somebody has called me a terrible reporter, I'd be a multi-millionaire. I'll tell you that. Let's talk about a domestic story, something that's happened here in Britain that I know Donald Trump has been talking about, has been discussed at the highest levels in Washington and around the world, because it's about British freedom. It's a story we discussed last week. It is the grotesquely disproportionate sentence of a mum called Lucy Connolly. She's just in her early 40s, I believe. The judge said, no, 31 months is not excessive. Stay exactly where you are, behind bars. You're a barrister. That's a disgrace.
It's an absolute disgrace, and as you say, a stain on Britain that we have this situation. Same time, Tommy Robinson's being released in the next few days. She should never, this is the point that I made, she should never, ever, ever have pleaded guilty to incitement. That's where the problem started, because the judges then have a tariff, and they turn around and say, well, you've pleaded guilty to this. This is what we're governed by, the sentencing council to do this. And it's interesting, you talk about Donald Trump and gifts. Statue of Liberty was given by France in 1886, one of our fundamental freedoms. There you go, given by France. Nobody says hang about. You're working on that sort of basis. But liberty and the freedom of speech is a fundamental right. What the police should be policing our streets, not our tweets.
Absolutely. The Statue of Liberty, I'm so old that when I first went up there, you could still climb all the way up the arm. and you could see, the torch, you could stand on the torch.
Oh, how good was that?
Absolutely terrifying.
It would be.
Because you could see down the vast interior of that statue. And, of course, on the arm, it's going like that.
It is.
But your thoughts on what happened to Lucy Connolly? It's an absolute outrage, isn't it?
It is an outrage. And you know what? We talk about optics. Starmer saying that he knows nothing about the case was probably one of the worst things I've ever watched. I mean, that is a Prime Minister who's completely unqualified.
You've got to preempt that by explaining. When our Prime Minister was quizzed about the failure of Lucy Connolly's appeal against her sentence. We all thought she was going to get released. Everybody in this country has been talking about it. It's been all over the TV, all over the radio, all over the front pages of the paper. And when our Prime Minister, Keir, a socialist enemy of free speech, was asked about it, he goes, I'm not across the details of that case. A lie!
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, just another lie to add to his sort of massive amount that's piling up. I just think that it's given us a really, really bad look, especially with the US. We had this very influential commentator called Charlie Kirk come to the UK this week, and he has millions of followers, and he has been tweeting that he said he was kissing the ground when he got back to the US because of...
Because it's to free America.
Yeah.
Yes.
This place, Britain, Starmer's turning it into Stasi Britain. It's like East Germany in the 1970s or something, or South Korea. This guy is a really, really dangerous Prime Minister, an enemy of British freedom. We're all very worried here, I'll tell you. I'm going to get one mood board. I'm going to get a bad mood board. Bad mood board, which brings me nicely to a bad ad.
Hey.
Wow. That's incredible. This is the first time I've ever used this product. I saw it on the infomercials, and I was skeptical at first, but it works.
I'll tell you what, I can't believe it. You know, I've seen the commercial, and I just couldn't believe it. And it really looks great. My wife's got herself a new guy now, and I tell you, I'm really impressed.
That's incredible. I've been getting harassing for being bald. I'm only a young man. No more dates without being called old man, but the babes are back.
Yeah, I can confirm it really does work well.
Hey, I love it.
That product's been around for years. It's an old showbiz. It's a TV industry sort of prop that spilled out into the commercial world. Somebody in TV said, well, we could sell this generally, so they do. That's the story of that, and as I say, it works very well.
Beautiful.
Right, let's go to some real ads. What just happened?
He's mad as hell. It's Kevin O'Sullivan.
Welcome back to part 3 of What Just Happened. By the way, this is really my hair. I don't really use that product. He lied. No, it is my hair. Why am I having an argument with myself? It's time for viewers' questions. Well, Samara, ask me some questions.
Sure. School kids are being taught that black people built Stonehenge. What do you think?
I don't think they did. Yeah, I mean, this is a worrying thing here in Britain. You know, we are still... President Trump brilliantly cancelled woke on day 1 of his forthright presidency. Cancelled all that DEI claptrap, cancelled wokery. And it was a remarkable thing to see. Over here in Britain, we watched it with tears in our eyes. Why can't we have that? Why can't we have that? Well, we can't. We have a generation of very woke teachers who are brainwashing our children with non-history.
Yes.
And apparently they are teaching our kids that people of colour, black people, built Stonehenge, you know, our ancient monument in the middle of Salisbury Plain here in South Britain. Now, the thing is, we don't really know who built Stonehenge.
Aliens.
There is talk that it could have been distant people of colour, but we don't know. So telling kids that this is a fact is symptomatic of the misinformation that these left-wing teachers are brainwashing our children with. And do you know, for the British viewers, this will be a shock to you, American viewers probably won't care, nor the Australians. Australians might be interesting, but seriously, the 2 great battles of British history are, of course, Waterloo and Trafalgar.
Yes.
Waterloo on ground, on the earth, Trafalgar at sea, our great British victories, our great British fact.
Battle of Hastings?
No, mind that. They're being taught the battle. Thanks very much, Samara. It's completely ruined my fantastic diatribe. Battle of Hastings. Anyway, that's not a glorious battle. We lost that one.
Exactly.
For God's sake.
Back to Australia with you.
Can you get out of the studio, please?
1066.
No, seriously. So these 2 great battles that we actually won.
Yes.
We do usually win our wars. Trafalgar and Waterloo. Do you know that only 1 in 10 British schools are teaching our kids?
Isn't that crazy?
9 out of 10 schools don't teach British kids about our 2 most legendary, famous victories.
That is
it's outrageous.
scandalous. All they teach is 1066 and all that, isn't it? You're working on that sort of basis. What's also crazy... Exactly.
I didn't go to a British school.
There you go.
Yeah, well, you knew that we lost that one.
Exactly. You don't bring out the lost thing. What's
That's
also
why I brought it
crazy,
up.
you might remember when Gemini came out, the equivalent of that sort of stuff. That was all woke, and that rewrote history. It had the black founding fathers, it had a black pope and so on and so forth. It basically was too woke. History is ugly, but there's no need to rewrite it.
Well, you mustn't rewrite it. You mustn't teach kids wrong facts. I was going to make some sort of joke about Australia never winning a war or something like that. But I want to be serious here. The Anzacs were so important to the British in the Second World War. So were the Americans.
Yeah.
This was a sort of alliance of the good guys. So here's to Australia, seriously.
Well, we only learnt about the white history, actually. They actually said that to us. We're not teaching the other stuff.
You don't get taught that anymore.
No, they said...
The Anzacs are the heroes.
No,
of the
we get
Second
taught
World
that, but we only get taught that. We don't get taught anything else about the Indigenous population.
You never got taught that Britain lost the Battle of Hastings, did you?
I did. That's why I brought it up. Just to mention. Okay. Anyway.
Battle of Hastings.
Thank you.
Battle of Hastings.
One in the eye for you. Absolutely. Go for
Anyway, how else have you got to ruin the show? What have you got now? Next question.
Keir Starmer has dragged Britain back into the EU with a disastrous deal. Why does he hate us?
Well, it's an interesting thing, is it? This guy, this is our Prime Minister. He's the ultimate globalist. His first thought is for Europe. We in Britain voted to leave that sclerotic, useless organisation, the European Union, back in 2016. Ever since then, millions of our politicians have been trying to reverse that vote. To no avail. Now we've made the mistake of voting this shape-shifting liar, Keir Starmer, into power. He's getting us back into the EU by stealth. He's just signed a deal whereby, once again, we're going to have to give Brussels billions of pounds for the privilege of accepting their millions of rules and regulations. We've gone back. We've rejoined in all but name, haven't we, Samara?
I mean, it's anti-democratic, actually.
It's against 17.4 million people.
Absolutely crazy, isn't it?
Voted to leave the EU. Keir Starmer has betrayed them.
Absolutely. And what happened is Boris got elected on Get Brexit Done, and Keir Starmer is getting Brexit undone. It is an absolute scandal. Those in the fishing industry are all crying out, saying, what are you going to do? You're going to cripple this industry as a result of what you've done. And it's scandalous, absolutely scandalous.
He resembles all that's wrong with the left and your Alistair Campbells and all your people that wanted to stay and had all these campaigns, which Starmer was also a part of. They think their idea is correct, and that's all we should go for.
But it's also undemocratic. People elected, whatever people's views are, democracy said, we're leaving.
He calls it he's thrilled. I've got a Brexit reset. Well, we didn't ask you to do a Brexit reset. We don't want a Brexit reset. We don't want a closer relationship with Europe. We hate the Europeans.
There you go. 1066 and all that.
That was a bit of a joke. Actually, let me just explain that. We sort of hate the concept of Europe.
Right.
We hate, we in theory, conceptually we hate the French, but actually we like each other in person.
Yeah, we love it.
I love Europe. I love going to Europe. Love going to France. But I also like conceptually hating them, and they like hating us as well.
Absolutely.
That's the way. Neighbours always dislike.
But we're an island, and as an island, we treasure our
Island of
sovereignty.
strangers.
Exactly.
What's your next question,
The
Samara?
UK has crashed out of Eurovision, speaking of, with 0 points again from the public. Should we stop paying for it?
Well, you don't have to pay for it, but Britain is one of the UK is one of the countries that pays a lot of money to avoid the semi-finals. Yeah. So we go straight into the finals, and that the BBC. I think it's a lot of money. It's like 12 million pounds or something. But it is one of the biggest shows on the Beeb all year. Gets watched by millions of people. But this year's Eurovision was an anti-Semitic disgrace. A very brave young girl called Yusuf Raphael, I seem to remember. She's the Israeli singer, contestant, and she survived that Nova Festival on October the 7th by burying herself in the corpses, the dead bodies of her friends, and acting dead, playing dead. And she bravely became Israel's singer, Israel's contestant, and when she hit the stage, she was drowned out by a cacophony of boos and jeers. Some pro-Palestinian protesters, shamefully from Britain, tried to storm the stage, chucked paint at her. If it's going to be like that, then you can stick Eurovision where the sun don't shine. Yeah. That was disgusting. It shouldn't be like that. So should we stop paying for it? I think it should be stopped altogether if it's going to be like that. And by the way, while Britain, useless Britain, once again, our girl group, what they call Remember Monday.
Yeah.
Yes.
And their song, by the way, they're still hearing from my lawyers. Guess what their song was called? What the hell just happened?
Exactly.
We're going to sue them. But anyway, they came 19th out of 26. They got no public votes whatsoever, 0 points. And Israel, brilliantly, while all the countries tried to vote them down, the public voted them to the top of the list. The public made them the biggest point scorers out of all the nations. So the public around the voting nations, they stand with Israel, and the organisers of Eurovision hated that.
And interesting, the UK gave their 12 points to Israel. It worked on that sort of basis. The one thing they should have done, though, is praise the songwriters. There was not a single mention of songwriters in the whole competition.
Yeah, well, did you hear the songs?
I mean, what? Sorry, what?
Bing, bing, a bang, bing, bing, bing.
Yeah. That's very good, actually.
I wrote that one.
Thank you.
In terms of the anti-Semitism, what do the Eurovision supporters want? Do they want next year
Well,
do they want it to be hosted in Gaza? Because I'd love to see how that goes.
There's a row going on, incredibly, from the depths of their anti-Israel outlook. Belgium and Spain have lodged an official complaint saying that the tidal waves of public votes for Israel must have been a fix, and they want they say the votes were rigged. I say that if there was any vote fixing, and I wouldn't put it past that long, it was to make sure that Israel did not win. Graham Norton, the British host here, he said you could sense the palpable sense of relief that next year's contest would now, because Israel were narrowly pipped to the post by Austria, would not have to be held in Tel Aviv, which was a strange thing to say, because it would probably have been in Jerusalem.
Oh, no, absolutely. And what's crazy is that this was supposed to transcend all sorts of politics. It's supposed to be using music to unite. It's the common language. It's all about love and everything else. You get people to work on that basis. The fact it was a scandal, whatever you thought of the British song, actually, it deserved more than 0 points. There was clearly a political move on that sort of basis, and it was scandalous.
Well, I mean, but nobody likes Britain, and that's why we always do very, very badly. I disagree with you. I thought that the song deserved. I thought 0 points was quite generous. It was over generous. Terrible song. Andrew Lloyd Webber thinks that Remember Monday are the next big thing.
Yeah,
that proves that Andrew Lloyd Webber may be a bit over the hill. I don't think so, Andy. I really don't think so. Should we go to a bad ad?
Has this ever happened to you? What a mess. What about this for a carpet design? Trails, tracks, spills, stains. This carpet has had it. But wait, introducing No Wet Wonder Foam, the miracle carpet cleaner from the makers of DD7. No Wet Wonder Foam is a scientific breakthrough that lets you clean any carpet quickly, totally, and without wetting.
I'll guarantee you that doesn't work. I'll guarantee. I know about carpet cleaners. My wife and I, Henrietta and I, we constantly buy those products because we've got an old dog, and he makes a bit of a mess of the carpet quite often. It's really annoying. So we go, oh, this one looks brilliant. They never ever work.
What they should do, they should combine it with the spray-on hair, because that first stuff it just work on that.
So what we actually do is we replace the carpets about once every 6 months.
There you go.
So we keep our carpets clean, but it costs us about £20,000 a year. Let's go to a real break. What just happened?
He's mad as hell. It's Kevin O'Sullivan.
Welcome back to part 4, the final section of this fantastic show. What just happened? Now, it's the complaints department where we go through some of the messages, thousands of messages you're kind enough to send us. We do appreciate it. But first, Could it be magic? Yes, I'm afraid it could be. It's another trick from broadcaster, barrister, magician, Andrew Eborn. Take it away, Andy.
Thank you. Think of one of your favourite movies throughout the rest of your life, OK?
OK.
Think about, you've got a movie?
Yeah.
OK, fantastic. Kevin.
It's controversial.
Kevin, got some crowns here with a colour. What do I do? Do you have a favourite colour? What's your favourite colour? Yeah, out of these. You've got any colour at all. You can pick. You've got green, you've got red, you've got black. What do you want?
Say black.
Black, OK. So black we're going to do over here like this.
Technically.
Well, it sort of is.
Yeah,
Let's get these over here like this. So what I want you to do, Samara, hold out your hand.
OK.
Hold out your hand. And close it over there like that.
OK.
And I want you to think of your movie. You're thinking of your movie?
Yes.
OK, now watch carefully. Can you think of a colour? Or you can think of a character which is that colour?
Yeah.
You have? OK. What's the character?
Darth Vader.
What's the movie?
It's Star Wars.
Star Wars. Let's have a look. So open up your hand. Have a look like that, and just have a look over here like this.
Yeah.
If you have a look over there like that, if we can get a close up on this one, that moulded in here is in fact. I'm holding it there.
No! How did you do that?
That is Darth Vader. But it doesn't just hold on to that one. It doesn't end there because nice and quickly inside the bag.
Gosh.
Have a look because this was the prediction. You could have picked any movie of all the movies we have.
No!
We have first of all a little hit over here like
What
this.
is that?
There is a little Yoda in a pot over there like that.
That's Yoda.
Inside here, give a little blow, Samara. That's trending at the moment. There you go. There's your lightsaber.
Wow,
That's magic. What just happened?
Amazing, amazing.
Incredible.
So your favourite film was Star Wars?
Yeah, very.
You said that was controversial.
Yeah.
Why is that controversial?
I mean.
I used to be a film critic. I've never seen Star Wars. It's true.
You've never seen it?
I've never seen it, no. Right, let's get to the complaints department.
Isabel says, Samara, stuff you.
In stark contrast.
And stop interrupting people. You are not that interesting.
Actually, Samara never interrupts anybody. That's my job. I'm the one who does that. Go ahead.
Whatever you think about Meghan's brand, I think Samara's reaction was over-dramatic and, quite frankly, rather silly and stupid.
Yeah, do it again. Yeah.
I think that's written by my mum because she does the same thing.
If you remember, the annoying part of it was I baked those bloody cookies.
Yeah, exactly.
And, she gags on them. I mean, it's not very complimentary to me, was it? And that's a terrible crime on this show. What you got next, Samara?
Lise Hogan says, love Samara and her realness. She's such a compliment to Kevin's hilarious but a bit brash at times personality.
A bit brash?
Me? Brash? Come on! Next, Andy.
Joy got on. 1569, a fine year. No, Kev. Palace PR team did a good job hiding petulant Harry's obnoxious nature. He's always been a pain in the arse. It took MM to bring it to the fore.
You see, that is a really interesting point. They say, he's been ruined by Meghan. And he's certainly been made a lot worse. She has ruined him. But I suspect he was never perhaps the nicest guy in town. And you're right, his image was polished by the royal PR machine. Next, Samara.
That's very true. SLS says, poor Kevin, his lack of knowledge of what's going on in the US is sad. Trump wants a law passed saying that even if you are born in the US, it does not automatically make you a US citizen. His Republican Party is nuts and Trump is the issue.
Well, what's wrong with that law? Well, what's wrong with that law? Why does that mean I don't know about what's going on in America? I mean, you might not like that law, but what Trump is talking about is, it's almost being used as a device by a lot of migrants. They come on over, they have a kid. That kid, because it's born in America, becomes an automatic American citizen, and then they get their citizenship. And Trump is trying to stop that syndrome. I would have thought it's not a bad idea. Next.
So Harry and Meghan are abhorrent abusers, liars, slanderous losers. There will never be a reconciliation with either family, and justifiably so, says Enion the World.
I think that's right, Elian, that for better or for worse, those family feuds, Meghan's with her dad, her brother and her sister, and Harry with his entire family over here in Britain, I don't see them ever getting healed. I don't see the King or Prince Harry ever talking to each other again. I think that the King, there's that thing in families, you sort of love your relatives.
Right.
You don't necessarily like them. You get born with them. I think the King has come to the point where he just doesn't like Harry much. And William certainly doesn't. Next, Samara.
So Narelle has said, oh my gosh, I really love Samara. She's so authentic as a fellow Aussie. She is as blunt and to the point as the rest of us. I love it. Great show, Kevin. Thank you. Oh, that's sweet.
That is sweet. Do you send these in? Yes. So much praise for Samara. I know what I'm doing next week. I'm going to send some in about me.
Yeah.
Kevin's so brilliant. What you got, Andrew?
Really crazy, says Jax3992. It was like watching the QVC channel selling MM's products.
It was.
Some people will watch this and actually buy her products, good or bad. It just makes it more real for them. You are all just helping to sell MM's products. I don't get it.
Well, what was that?
That was some Jax3992.
Jax, we won't have helped to sell the products. Nobody will help to sell those products. As I keep saying, having tried them, people will buy them first time round, maybe for the novelty value, see what it's like, but they're so expensive. And the jam or the fruit spread, as we discovered, nah, cookies, you know, and these are coming in at $14. The honey is like $28, isn't it? Who's going to pay that twice? It's just not going to happen. As ever, isn't going to last forever. I'll tell you that. Go on, Samara.
Elizabeth Compton says, Kevin, let Simple Simon come back just one last time. Andrew can use a magic trick on him and make him disappear. Forever this time, I hope.
Hey, presto, London, you're gone. Yeah, that's a good idea. But maybe we'll get Simon back. We'll put all of us at one time for a laugh. Andrew?
Betty Bob G5C says...
Betty Bob G5C?
Yeah, you know the one as opposed to 4D. Actually, I hope the Markles aren't recording any conversations material for another book.
Yeah, well, they probably are.
They're probably not
there is serious talk that Harry is planning a second book, Spare.
Yes.
As I say, if he does write a second book, it won't be Spare to the royal family, Spare to the heir to the throne. It'll be Spare to Meghan. How I gave my life up and ruined it by marrying Meghan. Spare 2 with Prince Harry. Next, Samara.
Judy Amy says, if people don't like what you're saying, Kevin, then they shouldn't watch. I'm personally a huge fan. I love your guests. They are so much fun. And I also watch you and Kinsey, and I love that too. You're very honest and you say what you think. The last time I checked, you still have freedom of speech in the UK, although it's getting really scary. Keep bringing us your entertaining news and opinions.
Who was that again?
That's from Judy.
Well, Judy, thanks very much. Yes, I do tend to speak my mind. It's got me in a lot of trouble over the years, but what can you do? Let's go to a bad ad.
Let me tell you about a way I found to tighten up my stomach without the torture of doing sit-ups. It's called Easy Crunch.
Easy Crunch is the fast, easy way to target all 3 abdominal muscle groups right in your own home. The Forward Crunch works the upper abdominals. Knee-ins let you target that lower tummy bulge.
Yeah. For people who need to rehearse sex, unbelievable. And on that sex bombshell, that's the end of this fantastic edition of What Just Happened. Thank you, as always, to our master magician, Andrew Eborn, and to the brilliant Samara Gill. Thank you all for watching. We'll be back next week with another edition of What Just Happened. You better be there.